We need real first-class second home developments that are done in the right way. Good road networks that are, they're on an accessible grade. Developments that conserve a certain amount of area in conservation, that they don't develop every piece of it.
Cluster developments where they take a large piece of property and instead of putting 1 acre, 1 house per acre on 100 acres, they actually condense that population to a smaller development, and then they utilize the remaining balance of the property as conservation easements, and that people get hiking trails or ways that they can feel a part of the community and don't feel like that we're messing up the landscape.
Responsible development is good business. I think that it's important to recognize that the market now is composed of more and more of sophisticated buyers who really put a premium on ecologically responsible development, in responsible land planning to preserve more green areas, in the preservation of ridge lines and such. I think that developers who respond to that are going to see that their market is expanded.
Let's suppose that downtown Andrews decided that they would take those buildings and make living spaces upstairs in every building. There'd be people walking the streets. Now you would have all kinds of small businesses that people could walk to. The entrepreneurial spirit would be alive, and you're helping each other and you're turning your money over in your own community. That would be a dream for me, to see our downtown active.
If we had a downtown, people could come and get out of their car and socialize and have a cup of coffee and walk down the street, and I think that would bring more of this community together.
The quality of life and the quality of growth of businesses can be very intertwined in a very vibrant economy based on small businesses, even large companies, manufacturing companies, but they all have a commitment to the conservation and preservation of resources. That attracts people. It contributes to a very vibrant cultural scene as well as a very vibrant economic scene.
Agriculture in this region is going to be needing to be oriented towards grow locally, buy locally. We're tinkering with raising cattle locally to be able to sell locally. That's going to be the future of agriculture, in my opinion.
I think if you look at trying to keep the local people here, you're going to have to come up with some opportunity for employment, affordable housing, provide the young couples that are starting out means to be able to afford land here. The prices have gone so high.
If you proactively plan it, you can have different tax structures within your county to protect people, particularly that have been here their whole life. You could structure it to where, folks that have got no intent on selling their property, you could restructure the tax system.
You would say, I'll give you tax incentives to implement quality restrictive covenants in your project. We'll give you further incentives if you'll find another tract or piggyback part of your tract and build affordable housing, which your workers and your employees are going to need anyway. I'm a believer in incentives, not restrictions.
I still would like to be able to look out my window and see unspoiled mountains, beautiful layers of mountains. I'd like to be able to drive in any direction and see open fields, beautiful streams, but probably I want to see some growth too. First of all, that's my bread and butter, but I want to preserve the beauty.
My fantasy would be not to see it change much more than what it is, but to be able to do that, you have to be able to give people options. You get into things of property being in families for generations. To me, that's an option to work with, to conserve it.
We are considered a gateway community, the same as in Gatlinburg. Look what Gatlinburg looks like, and Pigeon Forge. For a long time,
we let tourism drive us, and now we are in the position now that we can drive tourism. We can say what we want to offer to the tourist. Not some outsider coming in saying we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We can say this is how we want our community to be.
Let's redefine, let's make a mission statement for this area. What is it we want to do when we grow up, as we grow up? And I don't think that this area has had a real firm grip of how they want to redefine themselves and how they want to mature.
Anytime that the people of the mountains come together and unite as one and to be able to work for a particular initiative, the outcome has always been so positive. And so coming together, being on the same page is so important with all of our communities to ensure that we have a quality place to live, quality air to breathe, and quality water to drink.
Grandpa and them always told us that you take care of the land while thinking 7 generations from you. So 7 generations, if this is going to hurt them, then you shouldn't do it.
It's a wonderful opportunity right now for everybody to get together and say, how do we manage this resource called land? You know, the farmers have a right to farm, absolutely. Loggers have a right to log. Builders have a right to build. Owners have a right to do what they want with their land. Collectively, as a resource, everyone should get together and find out what's the best use for the longest period of time.
I get my strength, I guess, from looking up on those mountains up through there. Let's do the best with the resources that we've got and leave them, if we can, leave them in better shape than it was whenever we got them.